Hey guys, it's Lucian, and today I'm going to be filming my January wrap-up. I know it's really late, this is my thing, I don't know what's wrong with me, but this is what I do apparently. So, this is actually the first video that I'm filming in 2020, not 2018, not 2019, 2020. I read quite a few books in January, so we're going to try to speed through this because I'm filming this at like 10 in the morning and I haven't even eaten breakfast yet. So let's just get it over with. I don't know how many books I read, you can count if you are interested. But the first book that I read in January, the first book that I read in 2020, and the first book that I read for this new decade was Havenfall by Holland. So this book is about a girl named Maddie who goes and she's living with her grandfather. It's either her grandfather or her uncle in this estate called Havenfall, and it is sort of the meeting point between all these different worlds, and I thought it was okay. I honestly forgot I read this book because I read it on the first day of the new year with my family, and I was just reading it like while we were watching a movie, and it wasn't really what I was expecting based on the whole synopsis and everything. I thought it would be sort of like the archived. It wasn't. But, I mean, it was fine. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I ended up giving it 3 stars. It comes out on March 3rd, I believe. And I thought it was okay. Like, I might read the sequel, I might not, but to me it was just pretty mediocre. The next book that I read was Scarlet by Marissa Meyer, which is the second book in the Lunar Chronicles. I love Marissa Meyer. I've read quite a few of her books. I love the Renegades trilogy. I really enjoyed Heartless, and I am really enjoying the Lunar Chronicles as well. I read Cinder last year, and I really enjoyed it, and so I decided to jump back into the series. But this series is like a post-apocalyptic sci-fi book that takes place after the Fourth World War. And basically, each book is a retelling of a popular fairy tale. So book 1 was Cinderella, and book 2 is Little Red Riding Hood. I really enjoyed this book. I really enjoyed Cinder as well. I just think Marissa Meyer is like a really good writer. And so this book, I was really excited to dive in, because I really like her writing. And I, thoroughly enjoyed it. Really, my only qualm with this book was the POVs. So I love multiple POVs, but the way that this one is structured is just kind of a little weird. It's like, there'll be 5 chapters from Scarlet, and then 1 or 2 from Cinder, 5 more chapters from Scarlet, 1 from Kai, and it's just weirdly structured, but that wasn't really a big deal for me. Also, I just want more of the politics. I love political intrigue in books, and there is so much in this book that is touched on, but it's not really delved into as much as it could be. I am looking forward to finishing the series. Next, I read A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab, which is the second book in the Shades of Magic series. I'm rereading this series just for fun, and I am really enjoying myself. I am not loving them as much as I remember, but I think that happens a lot with me rereading books. Sometimes you just get that high when you read a book for the first time, but I still gave this book 4.5 out of 5 stars. It takes place, I'm sure you all know what this book series is about, but it takes place in this universe where there are 4 different types of London: Grey London, Red London, White London, and Black London. And Black London has been consumed by dark magic, and there's just they all have their different traits. And in the first book we follow a magician named Kel, and he is one of the 2 magicians in the world that can actually travel between these worlds, and he has to go on a quest, and he brings a girl who is a pirate with him named Delilah Bard. In this book they are separated, and they are both sort of competing in this sort of Goblet of Fire, Triwizard Tournament games, and there are elemental games, and I love when books have tournaments in them. I don't know why, it's a trope that I really love. That is why Goblet of Fire is my favorite book in the Harry Potter series. This, to my memory, was my favorite book when I first read this series. And yeah, I just am a sucker for that. I really enjoyed this, and I am really excited to see how I feel during my reread for A Conjuring of Light. So, stay tuned for that. Next, I read Cress by Marissa Meyer. We're back to the Lunar Chronicles. This is the third book in the Lunar Chronicles, and in this book we are following Cress, and this is a retelling of Rapunzel, and Cress is like a hacker girl, and she lives on this satellite, and then the crew from the first two books try to rescue her because they need her help in taking down Queen Lavanna. Yeah, this book was not my favorite. I definitely liked the first two books more, which seems like an unpopular opinion because I feel like Cress is a lot of people's favorites in the series. I thought it was a little too long, and there was like a section in this book that I was just not really digging. And there was like a section in this book that I just wasn't in love with. I don't like deserts. And then with this book, also, same thing with the structure. It's like, Cress will have 6 chapters, and then it'll just be like scattered, the other POVs throughout. But I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. Once again, I really enjoy Marissa Meyer's writing. I think it's really easy to just fall into. It's not really descriptive, but it's also not super simple, so yes, I would definitely recommend checking this out. After that, I read Chosen Ones by Veronica Roth. This was sort of a, like, whim to just pick up. I was approved for a e-arc on Edelweiss, and I was so excited because this book is, like, one of my most anticipated books of this year, and I really, really enjoyed it. This is an adult book, and we follow we follow 5 people, but we're really only in the POV of 1. And basically, 15 years ago or so, there was this, like, thing called the Dark One, and it was basically going to, like, take over Chicago. Sorry, I'm just, like, there are people, like, on my neighbor's house coming in and out, so, yeah. But, they, like, came and, like, was going to take over Chicago, but then these 5 people were, like, the prophesied chosen ones to save Chicago and everything. And this book takes place 10 years or 15 years after that, and they are, our main character Sloane is still recovering from all of that. She has PTSD and anxiety and stuff like that. And so now there is a new threat coming into the world, and one of the chosen ones actually dies. And it's like after one of the like anniversaries of the chosen ones saving the world, basically. There's like a mix of some like Roman and Greek mythology, there's some science, some math. It was really just like perfect for me. Well, actually that's why. But I really enjoyed it. I read Divergent, the original trilogy. I was in 4th grade, I think, so that's like 5 years ago or so. And I enjoyed them. I thought they were good. I didn't read Carve the Mark and the Fates Divide. I might have read Carve the Mark. I don't even remember. But I really enjoyed this one. I think Veronica Roth's writing really improved from Divergent. But this book is actually really well constructed. There are 3 parts to it. And okay. Also, I'm a sucker for parallel universes in books. Like, give me a parallel universe book and I will read it. I just think it was so interesting, and the way that Veronica Roth was able to incorporate the parallel universes was just really, really well done, and I thought was really creative and unique. This is also an adult book, so there is some darker themes. There's like definitely, I don't know, there's darker themes, but it didn't really bother me. But this book, there's also something that I really love. After every chapter or so, there is like a newspaper clipping or just something that is not a traditional narrative style, and I love that in books. I think that is so cool when books have that, and I cannot wait to have my hands on a finished copy. I really... Alright, so my memory card is full, so I had to delete some stuff. So I don't really remember where I was, but I really enjoyed this book. I will be reading the sequels, and I think it was really, really well done, so I ended up giving it 4.5 out of 5 stars. The only reason I knocked off a star was because I didn't really enjoy the last third as much as the first two thirds, so. Next I read Come Tumbling Down by Seanan McGuire, which is the 5th book in the Wayward Children series. This book was sent to me back in, like, July or August, and I got like 70 pages in, and then I just didn't finish it, and I felt really bad, but I still read it before it came out on the 7th, I think. Was it the 7th? I don't even remember. Might have been the 7th. Who knows? But I think I did finish it before it came out, or like the day it came out. Something like that. Or maybe, I don't even know. Anyway, this series, I've talked about it multiple times. It is about these children who go to magical worlds, and then when they come back to our world, they are sent to Eleanor West's Home for Wayward Children, where they are basically snapped back to reality. This is the 5th book, and every other book is set. So, books 1, 3, and 5 are set at the school, and books like 2, 4, and 6 are set in other worlds, and they're sort of prequels. This follows Jack and Jill, and yeah, they basically go back to the moors, and I would say don't read this unless you have read books 1 and 2. Yeah, books 1 and 2, and then you can probably read this. You can read this if you don't want to read the others, but I wouldn't recommend it. So this is probably my least favorite book in the series. I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars. I thought it was fine. I didn't love it, I didn't hate it. I thought it was very mediocre, and so I didn't have many feelings about it. I just thought it was okay. They're very quick reads, but I just don't really like the moors, which I know is an unpopular opinion. But I might try to get my hands on a finished copy. Maybe, I don't really know. But I definitely will be continuing on with the series. I know the next book was just announced. That one sounds very interesting to me. I definitely like the books that are set, that are prequels and are set in, like, other worlds with other characters that we've met. So, yes. I enjoyed this book enough. And I will definitely be reading the 6th book, and I will try to request an arc. But yeah, this is basically my review for this book. I can't really say much about it because it is the 5th book in a series, and it is, like, you do need to read other books before this, but I thought it was good, and I'm just repeating myself, anyway. Yeah. So the next 2 books that I read were both rereads in preparation for the finale in a series. But those are Truly Devious and The Vanishing Stair by Maureen Johnson. Truly Devious is one of my favorite books of all time. I read it back when it came out in 2018, and I absolutely loved it, and I was just so obsessed with it. And then I read The Vanishing Stair like a couple days before it came out, actually, because I found an early copy at Barnes & Noble. Like, this was there, maybe 2 weeks early. And I loved it as well. Anyway, I'm like flipping back and forth. Truly Devious is about a girl named Stevie Bell, and she wants to be like a detective. She wants to be Sherlock Holmes or Hercule Poirot. That's her thing, and she loves Agatha Christie and Arthur Conan Doyle. And basically, on April 13th, 1936, Tycoon Albert Ellingham's wife and daughter were kidnapped. His wife's body was found, but his daughter was never seen again. And this has been, the case was never solved, and Stevie has been, obsessed with it. And she wants to go to Ellingham Academy because Albert Ellingham, he actually created this school where kids could go for free if they have a talent, and learning was a game. And so Stevie, she is a crime prodigy, I guess you could call her, and she is accepted to Ellingham, and she is going to solve the case. And she's going to try to solve the case of the century. And basically, the whole trilogy is one mystery, so it's threaded throughout. I just love it so much. And, also, while Stevie is there, one of the students is murdered at Ellingham Academy. And then, so there's a cliffhanger at the end of this book, And then we get to the Vanishing Stair, which I love so much. It's probably my favorite book in the series. And Stevie is back at Ellingham Academy, and she thinks she knows what happened. She has, like, a piece of the puzzle, and she's going to try to figure it out. This was so fun, and this was probably the most fun, the most fun book in the series, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I really, really loved this one as well. I obviously gave them both 5 stars. And then we move on to the finale. So the next book that I read was The Hand on the Wall. Y'all, I have been waiting for this book since 2018. That has been 2 years that I've been waiting for this finale to figure out what happened in the past and in the present and how they are connected. This is one of the best finales I've ever read. It was so amazing. I don't know if it's my favorite in the series. I think my favorite, it goes The Vanishing, Stair, Truly Devious, and The Hand on the Wall, maybe. But I all love so much. They're basically all the same ranking in my head. I have been a little disappointed by finales recently, and I'm so glad that this one did not disappoint me. I loved it with my whole heart, and I cannot wait to reread it next year. This series is going to become a permanent reread for me, and I adore it so much, and it is just so magical. Not actually, but I loved it, and she figures out the mystery, and I was not disappointed in the outcome whatsoever. I thought it was so incredibly well done, and it really showed how there doesn't have to be, like, this big bad. So, my camera died, and my family came home, so I had to stop filming. I'm really just gonna try to get this whole thing over with, because I've been filming for what feels like 3 years. So I remember I was talking about The Hand on the Wall. I don't remember what I was saying about it. But yeah, I really love this book. I ended up giving it 5 out of 5 stars, and it will definitely be on my favorite books of the year list, which will be coming, like, my video from 2020 will be coming. I promise, but I'm just really behind. And I cannot wait to reread it next year. After that, I picked up City of Lost Souls by Cassandra Clare, which is the 5th book in the Mortal Instruments series. My grandmother is more caught up with Cassandra Clare's books than I am, which is just sad. But this is the 5th book. The Shadowhunter Chronicles is just about people, and they are called Shadowhunters, and they hunt demons to keep the world safe. And yeah, this is the 5th book. You have to read, like, with this one, you can just read the first 4 books in the series and you're caught up. But as we get further down the series, you have to read more books. Anyway, I'm reading them in chronological order, so the next book that I have to read is Clockwork Princess. But anyway, I don't really have much to say about this. I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I really like all the characters, and I like all the POVs. So, yeah. After that, I picked up on a whim The Chosen by Taran Matharu. I also don't have much to say about this book. It basically takes place in a world where all the things that have disappeared from our world end up there, and our main character, Cade, ends up in that world with some kids from his school, and they encounter all these things, and then there is this timer counting down to when they need to go into this tournament to see if they'll survive, and it's an adventure book, and it's also really short. It's like 350 pages, maybe. I read it on my phone in like 2 days. It was a really quick read, but it was also really, really fun. The writing, everything was just like pretty okay to me. I am definitely going to be picking up the sequel. And I think that he's a really good writer, and I didn't have many qualms with it, but I also didn't have much that I loved about it, so I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars. And my knuckles just cracked. After that, I also picked up another book on a whim, and that was Regretting You by Colleen Hoover. I don't really know why I read this book. I thought it would be fun to just, like, read, and It was, I ended up giving it like 2.5 out of 5 stars. I rounded it up to 3 on Goodreads. I thought it was fine. I did have some problems with it. I definitely liked the mother's perspective more than the daughter. It's basically just a mother-daughter relationship, and they're kind of like, they've had a rocky relationship, but then the father, like, of the house dies, and then there's all this stuff that comes out. There are rumors in the family, and it's just a bunch of drama. I thought it was fine. I don't really have much of a problem with Colleen Hoover, as a lot of people do. I mean, this is the only book I've read from her, so I don't really know, but for this book, I thought it was fine, and I ended up giving it like 3 stars. After that, I read They Do It With Mirrors by Agatha Christie. I love Agatha Christie. I think this is the 6th book in the Miss Marple series. You don't have to read them in order, but this is the 6th book, I believe. And I love Agatha Christie. Her books are super fun to read, and they're easy to read as well. They don't take much brain space. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars. This is, I believe, the 5th Agatha Christie book that I've read. My life goal is to read every single book that she wrote or published. But this book basically takes place in London, I believe, and we follow, like, the book starts out with a girl named Ruth, and she is talking to Miss Marple, and she is, like, telling Miss Marple that she's worried about her sister, I believe it is, who is, like, she's, like, this rich woman, and she's basically, like, she's just, like, super rich. I'm forgetting the word that was used, but, so then Miss Marple goes to the house, and then it's basically just, like, some family drama, but then someone is threatening to kill someone else, and then someone else on the other side of the house gets murdered. I hope that made sense. It's kind of confusing unless you read it. Even when I read the synopsis, I was a little bit confused. I was, like, confused until I read the actual scene happening. But I thought that it was really well done. I know a lot of people don't like this book, but I thought it was really enjoyable. But I heard that a lot of people don't like this book because it is very, like, copy and paste, or, like, whatever that term is, because apparently when you read a lot of Agatha Christie, you can tell who it is. I definitely suspected who it was, but I didn't think it was them for sure, if that makes any sense. But I really enjoyed it, and I love Agatha Christie's books, and I will definitely continue on. And I definitely liked this Miss Marple book more than The Body in the Library, which was the other one that I read, because she was, like, in this for a really long time. I didn't realize that with Miss Marple books, it'll be, like, she'll be in, like, up until the murder happens, then the murder happens, but then it's, like, chapters from another investigator. Like, Miss Marple isn't actually doing the detective work, but then at the end she's like, I solved it. So, I mean, it's different from Poirot, but, I mean, I don't really mind it that much, and I did really enjoy this book, and once again, I will continue on with all of Agatha Christie's other work. And the final book that I read in the month of January, finally, we are here, was As She Ascends by Jodi Meadows, which is the 2nd book in the Fallen Isles trilogy, and it is the sequel to Before She Ignites. Before She Ignites basically follows a girl named Mira Minkoba. Mira is, like, the advocator for the dragons, or the advocate, I don't remember. I don't know what the word is, but she basically drafted up the Mira Treaty, which is basically, like, it prevents dragon trafficking and stuff like that, but then there is a secret that is revealed, and in the 1st book, Mira is sent to the pit, which is, like, this really, like, highly guarded prison, and she is stuck there, and she's trying to figure out a way out, and she has friends, she, like, makes friends there. In this book, stuff happens. I really can't say anything about this book, because even, like, how it starts is a spoiler, but, there's more dragons in this book, and there is another POV, in this book. In the 1st book, it switches between the present, where Mira is in the pit, and then in the past, from her perspective as well, before, but in this book we get the present moment, what's happening in, like, right now, and then we also get another perspective from the past, which I thought was really interesting. I definitely liked the first book more. I still really enjoyed this book, and I ended up giving it like 4.5 out of 5 stars. It wasn't exactly 5 stars, but I cannot wait until I get my hands on the third book and read it. This is quite long, and it did feel pretty long. It's like 550 pages. And with the first book, I thought it was really easy to read, but with this, it did feel pretty long. But other than that, I really had a fun time reading it, and I would definitely recommend this series. It is so underrated. I don't hear anybody talking about it, and you need to get on it because it is so fun. And the dragons, and there's so much adventure. I really just adore this series, and I need more people to read it. That is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I would love to know what you guys read in January. Once again, my end videos from 2019 and my beginning videos for 2020 will be coming probably at the end of this month if I get to film them all. I'm going to be doing a lot of filming this week because I have a break, President's Week break, if that's what it's called. But, yeah, that is it. And I will be filming a February wrap-up. Hopefully, it'll be, timely, because this is going to be coming in, the middle of the month. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. All my social media links will be linked in the description box, as always, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!